Why every introverted personal trainer is secretly terrified of being successful. Hey, Sensei Sarah here with another incredible insights episode for every introverted personal trainer who wants to feel comfortable with success. So, here's what I mean. As personal trainers, we basically all want more clients, more referrals from current clients, more word of mouth marketing, more opportunities to collaborate with other people, more opportunities to teach group classes, more opportunities to lead workshops and stuff like that, and basically have an increased income. Yet we are all secretly terrified of being more visible online because that means we would be more recognizable. We want more press and media attention, but again, that means that we would be the center of attention. So we're kind of terrified of that. And we're absolutely petrified of having more speaking engagements, which basically is being the center of attention in a room full of strangers that expect you to say something genius. So here's this week's incredible insights to help you to stop feeling so worried or anxious. So insight number one is stop lying to yourself. All right. Now, most introverted personal trainers will tell themselves that they don't like being the center of attention, but that's not strictly true. Right? If you're anything like me, then you'll probably be one of those people who can't think of the right thing to say in the moment, but as soon as the moment's passed, you'll have exactly the right point to make in an argument, or you'll think of a really great question the moment the opportunity has to ask it has gone. So, being the center of attention when you don't know what to say is absolutely terrifying. But when you do know what to say, and more importantly, you know you'll be given the space to say it without interruption, I'm willing to bet that you don't mind quite as much. You see, it's not really about being the center of attention that bothers you. It's more to do with the environment or circumstances surrounding you being the center of attention that freaks you out, especially if the leap seems too far outside your comfort zone. So, an example of this is to think about the difference between talking to a room full of strangers who've no idea who you are and might not care about the topic you know a lot about. And compare that to talking to a room full of strangers who love everything you do and care just as deeply about the subject as you do. One is super scary, and the other one, not so much, right? So, insight number two, the risk is real but tiny. Now, all my life, I've hated being recognized, and it started from when I was a kid. Little old ladies would come up to me who I'd never met before, going, "Oh, you're Roger's daughter, aren't you?" I'm like, "Yes, who the hell are you?" And the reason for that was because my dad comes from a really big family, and we all lived locally, and everybody worked in the family car dealership at the edge of the village. And my dad ran the business along with his cousins for many years, and he knew everybody, everybody knew him. And I hated having people who knew who I was, although they were complete strangers to me. And also, this meant that I couldn't get away with anything when I was a kid because my parents would always find out. And on my teaching practices at university, I was really glad when I lived in a different town to the school because that meant the students wouldn't see me outside of school. And I felt the same when I started personal training in gyms. You know, whenever I'd meet someone in the supermarket who knew me and what I did for a living, I always felt like they were judging my grocery shopping, especially when they looked to me, from me to my basket and then back again. So I really get it. The fear of being recognized can put many trainers off being visible online because they worry about being more recognizable. But I can tell you the risk of that is real, but really, really tiny. When you think about the billions of people there are in the world and the tiny fraction of them that will actually see any of your content online, especially at the beginning, and then the chances of those people being in the same place as you at the same time is really, really small. In fact, I'd be willing to bet that the risk is smaller than if you worked in the local gym. But, maths really isn't much my strong point, so I'll let those of you who really care about the real figures worry about working that out. So, insight number three is you're going to be found out, so deal with it. Imposter syndrome or the fear of being found out to be not as good as people think is a real barrier for many introverted personal trainers, especially online. But really, there's two realities to this. One is that other people will always think more of you than you do of yourself. And number two is that there are always going to be people who know more than you and others who know less than you. So as long as you're not trying to make out like you know more than you really do, then what really is there to worry about? That people see you for someone who doesn't know everything? Great! You're human. Congratulations. But seriously, though, like most people don't expect or even want you to know everything. They want you to help them achieve their goals. And being helpful doesn't mean that you have to personally do or know everything for yourself. You can easily be very helpful by directing them towards somebody who knows more than you, and they'll be grateful for your honesty. I mean, this happened to me a few weeks ago when I wanted my boiler to be serviced because it was making some weird banging noise. I rang the guy who installed it. He's done a lot of work for my dad. And so, he squeezed me in, even though he was super busy. He came, he looked at the boiler, said it needed a new part, arranged for an engineer to come and replace the part because it was still under warranty. Then he serviced the boiler, all while telling me how much he didn't want the work servicing the boilers, charged me 90 quid and left. And then the engineer came a few days later. He looked at the boiler, had a totally different conclusion, all while saying what a crap job the original guy had done because this and that wasn't done properly. The engineer didn't replace any parts. He just adjusted some stuff, checked it was working properly, and left. And this is important to you because as a customer, I'm left thinking that I would rather pay someone to do the job properly in the first place than pay someone who really doesn't want the work to do a half-assed job because he thinks he's doing me some kind of favor. And your clients will think the same if you're venturing into a subject area that you don't know much about, that someone else knows better than you. Just admit it and direct your clients to those other professionals. Your clients will think much more of you for it, and you probably develop a referral relationship with those other professionals too, which is win-win. So the bottom line really here is that being more recognizable, being the center of attention, or worse, being the center of attention in a room full of strangers who expect you to say something genius, really isn't half as bad in reality as the version that's playing out in your head. You don't need to twist yourself into knots or be somebody you're not. You just need to manage the environment that you're in so that you feel capable and confident of doing it. So the bottom line here really is that you can feel comfortable with success without having to feel anxious or worried. So if you're one of those introverted personal trainers who's serious about wanting to make this even easier, take a couple of minutes to watch my video, The 7 Advantages Introverted Personal Trainers Have Over Extroverts and Show-Offs. There's a link somewhere in the description so that you can see how to use your quiet nature to your advantage and effortlessly be successful. So thanks for watching. I'm Sensei Sarah, and I'll see you on the next episode.